Hello children. Hello children. How are you this day? Very good. We are here in Practical Computers Comprehensive School, Aba. You're welcome to our online classes. I'm still your instructor for Basic 2 class, Aunt Emanuela. I hope you are going to listen to me very well as we start our lesson for today. Okay, our subject is Basic Science and Technology, and the theme of the subject under this Basic Science and Technology is Basic Science. Remember, we have many themes on the Basic Science and Technology. We have Basic Technology, we have Basic Science, we have ICT, that is Information Communication Technology, and we have PHE, which we call Physical and Health Education. But we are learning the theme of Basic Science, and the topic of the lesson is animals. What did I call it? Animals. Again, animals. Can you help spell animals? Okay. A N I M A L S. Animals. Good. The subtitle of the topic is Comparison of Plants and Animals as Living Things. Comparison of plants and animals as living things. As we go further, you are going to know more about this comparison. Good. Okay, let's see on our learning objectives. When we say learning objectives, we mean what is expected of you in this lesson. Now, at the end of this lesson, you as a learner, you, my beautiful listener, my wonderful listener, you are expected to state reasons why animals are living things. I repeat again, at the end of this lesson, you are expected to state reasons why animals are living things. And number 2 of the expectation, you are expected thus to compare plants and the animals as living things at the end of the lesson. I repeat again, the first objective of this lesson is you as a listener, you, my wonderful baby, my wonderful girl, my wonderful boy at home listening to me now, you are expected to state reasons why animals are living things. Again, state reasons why animals are living things. Number 2, you are expected to compare plants and animals as living things. Again, you are expected to compare plants and animals as living things. Thank you. From our last lesson on plants, we're able to explain plants to mean living things that usually make their own food, reproduce, but cannot move around. Living things, remember that we stated, could be plants and animals. Because why do we say they are living things? They are living things because they have life in them. They are living things because they have life in them. Good. Now, on the topic of our lesson, animals. Say it. Animals. Again. Animals. Good. What are animals? We see animals around us. Remember, human being is an animal too. Yes, it's an animal. Good. Animals are living things that can move around, eat food, for fuel, and reproduce. Why do we say human beings are animals? Because human beings also do these things that we said animals do. Animals are living things. They can move around, eat food, for fuel and reproduce. When we say eat food for fuel, we do not mean when it eats food, it's now eating petroleum. No, it eats food for fuel. That is for strength. That is for energy to do things. They are classified as wild and domestic animals. Good. These animals are classified into two: wild and domestic animals. What do we mean by wild and domestic animals? We have to take first domestic animals, and the next we are going to see on the wild animals. But now, for us to explain domestic animals, I would like that you listen very attentively. Are you listening? Okay. Now, what do we mean by domestic animals? They are animals that live with us in, or say, at our homes, a school compound, in our environment which we care for, and are not harmful to us. Yes, those animals that we see around our compound, say our environment. When you hear the word environment, we also mean our surrounding. That is the places we see ourselves. These animals are not dangerous. They are not dangerous. Yes, they are not dangerous. That is why we keep them around our homes. If they are dangerous, you could not keep them around because it could end up harming you. Now, these animals can also be called friendly animals. I said they can also be called what? Friendly animals. Good. Such animals are dogs, goats, cow, cattle, rabbit, and so on and so forth. I mean, those animals we see around us, etc. Now, hello children. Good. Can you tell me what we said about domestic animals again? Good. Domestic animals are animals that live with us at, or say, in our homes, in our school compound, and the surrounding which we care for, and are not harmful to us. Now, can you tell me some of these animals we mentioned? Good. They are dog, goats, cow, cattle, rabbits. And remember, I said these animals are called what? They are called friendly animals. Good. Now let's go to wild animals. Before we go to wild animals, I'd like us to see the pictures of domestic animals. These are some domestic animals we could see around us. We have animals like rabbits. Say it. Again, rabbits. Good. Now next one is dog. The next one is cow. Yes. Good. The next one is llama. Say it. Llama. Again. Again. Good. Llama is spelled as L-L-A-M-A. Llama. Spell it with me. L-L-A-M-A. Llama. Good. It's a domestic animal. Now we have the goose. What did I call it? Goose. Good. Then we have the turkey. We have what? The turkey. We do not mean the turkey of a country. No, this one is for a domestic animal. Good. The next we have is goat. Say it. Goat. Again. Goat. Good. The next we have on the picture is hen. Next is sheep. Say it. Sheep. Again. Again. Now the next we have is pigeon. Pigeon. I hope you've seen this bird before. Okay. Now this is the bird called pigeon. Now the next one is horse. Again, horse. This is a very big animal. Oh. I hope you've seen a horse before. The last time we went to the zoo, some of you rode on the horse. Now the next we have is camel. Again, camel. Good. Now we have dog. Say it. Dog. Now we have donkey. Again, donkey. Good. It's a domestic animal. It's also a farm animal. When we say farm animal, we mean the animal that is used in a farm. So yes, farmers use them to carry loads. Good. The next one we have is cat. Again, cat. So these are some common domestic animals we could see around us. Okay? Wild animals is what we have now. When we say wild animals, what do we mean by wild animals? If you look very well, you will see the pictures of the wild animals. Now, what do we explain wild animals to mean? Wild animals are animals that live in the bush. When we say bush, it could mean forest. Yes, bush is bush. You don't go to bushes because something could harm you from there. These wild animals are dangerous to humans, such as elephants, tigers, hyenas, lions, snakes, etc. I said wild animals are animals that live in the bush. They are dangerous to human. They cannot be your friend. Domestic animals can be your friend, but these wild animals are very dangerous. Do not go near them. You might be seeing them on movies you watch. Take for example, in animation, they do put up some animals and humans to be playing. Those are frames. They are not real. Please do not play with these animals. If you see any one of them, run very well. Some of these wild animals are elephants, tigers, hyenas, lions, snake, etc. That is etc. Now let's see the picture of these wild animals. Now let's look at some common wild animals we have on the picture here. Giraffe. Yes, if you go to zoo, you could see them. Fox, tiger, chimpanzee, squirrel, chipmunk, camel, possum, lion, porcupine. Yes, these are wild animals. The last time we visited the zoo, we saw a giant lion, but we don't have lion here. Good, but I'm trying to remind you that lion is also a wild animal. It is in the list of the wild animals. Let's repeat the pictures we have. Giraffe. Say it. Good. Fox. Tiger. Chimpanzee. Again. Again. Chimpanzee. Good. Squirrel. Again. Squirrel. Good. Now the next is chipmunk. Again. Chipmunk. Good. Camel. Camel. Possum. Say it. Possum. Look at this word. It looks like a rat, but it's a wild animal. Now this is the lion. Oh, we have it on the picture. Good. Porcupine. Porcupine. Good. These are some wild animals. Good. We have studied living things to mean those things that have life in them. And we are able to give the characteristics of living thing in our last class to be Mr. Niger D. In these characteristics, we say that Mr. Niger D stands for M, movement. R, reproduction. N, nutrition. I, irritability. G, growth. E, excretion. And R, respiration. Good. From that, we are going to see on the reasons why we say that animals are living things. Good. When we say animals are living things, just like plants, we mean that these animals can grow, that they can feed, that they can move, that they can produce young ones like themselves, that they can respond to stimuli, that they can breathe, that they can excrete, and they can die. Read after me. Number 1, they can grow. Number 2, they can feed. Number 3, they can move. Number 4, they can produce young ones like themselves. Number 5, they can respond to stimuli. Number 6, they can breathe. 7, they excrete. 8, they can die. In explanation, living things like animal can grow. You as an animal, you were a baby at a time, but now you are grown. Good. I did not mean that you are an auntie now. Neither did I say you are a mommy now. Yes, but remember, you are no longer a baby. Good. Next one is they can feed. You can feed. You eat food, and that is feeding. That is nutrition. Next is they can move. That is movement. Let me see you move. Okay? Okay? Good. Living things move from one place to another. Now the next one is they can produce young ones like themselves. Yes, mommy gave birth to you. That means mommy reproduced you, and that is let out for reproduction. Mommy gave birth to you. Good. Next one, they can respond to stimuli. They can respond to stimuli. It means that living things have feeling. They have feeling. They can feel things around them. They can feel hot. They can feel cold. Yes. The next is they can breathe. That is respiration. That is respiration. Good. Remember, we've mentioned reproduction, and now we are mentioning respiration. Good. The next one is the excrete. Good. When you say excrete, means that animals can release feces. I hope you know what we mean by feces. Good. Your poo. Yes. That is feces. Animal excrete. And they can release waste like urine. And they can also release waste in form of sweat. Good. And the last is that they can die. These are the reasons why we say that animals are living things. This is what I used to see. This particular one, I don't know if it is the color. Let's see on the basic comparison of plants and the animal. When we say comparison, we are trying to mean the difference between two things. The comparison of plants and animal are 1. Plants generally are rooted in one place and do not move on their own. Most animals have the ability to move fairly and freely. When we say moving from one place to another, we are trying to state that plants cannot move, but animals can move. Now in number 2, plants contain chlorophyll and can make their own food, but animals cannot make their own food and are dependent on plants and other animals for food. Okay? What was your question? Good. Chlorophyll. Very good. Chlorophyll means the green compound found in leaves and green stems of plants. The word chlorophyll means green compound found in leaves and green stems of plants. That is, in a simple word, the green plants. Yes, plants contain it, but animals do not contain chlorophyll. Plants can make their own food, but animals need plants to survive. Animals can feed on plants. They cannot depend on its own. Now, lesson number 3. Plants give off oxygen and take in carbon dioxide given by animals. Yes, animals give off carbon dioxide, which animals need to make food, and take in oxygen, which they need to breathe. Yes, we as animals, we breathe in oxygen. Oh yeah, breathe in. Let me see you. Breathe in. Good. But when we breathe out, we are breathing out carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide is needed by plants. But when the plants release this oxygen, we take it in. Yes. Now let's go to number 4. Plants have either or no basic to sense. Plants have either or no basic ability to sense. Plants cannot sense things around them. Yes, but animals have much more developed sensory and nervous system. Animals can think. They know what one is trying to do at times. Yes, but plants cannot think any of such. It doesn't even have thoughts, so it cannot think. Now, the number 5 says plants do not have gender. Yes, plants do not have male or female. You said this is the male plant or the female plant, but animals breed by sexual method. This means that animals have gender, like it has male and it has female. Animal has male and animal has female, and the female one will always give birth. I hope you remember that. Brothers, uncles, daddies, they cannot give birth. Yes, they cannot give birth because they are not female. Now, number 6. Plant cell has cell wall. Animals do not have cell wall and have different structures than plant cell. Yes, when we mean cell wall, cell on its own is the smallest unit of a plant. Now, the cell wall is the protective, something that protects the cell. Yes, plants have cell wall, but that doesn't mean that animals are not protected. They are protected, but their own cell walls are different from that of the plants. Yes, the number 7 says plants discharge environmental waste contained in the organism. Plants discharge environmental waste contained in the organism. Yes, it discharges environmental waste. When the plant dies, the waste it releases is useful to animals. It's useful to animals because when the plant dies, it turns into a manure that will help to grow all other plants for animal use. But animals discharge all sorts of waste like urine and feces. Hello? Yes, plants need our discharge too. They need our discharge to grow. But remember the discharge environmental waste. But plants discharge waste like urine, feces. Good. Now from our lesson so far, we've been able to identify some common animals around us and some wild animals. We've been able also to differentiate between plants and animals. That is the basic comparison of plants and animals, and share the reason why we see animals as living things. Now, I hope you've understood everything we've said so far. Next, let's see on our assignments. On assignment number 1, it says state 5 reasons why animals are living things. And number 2 says in a tabular form, compare plants and animals as living things. Welcome and thank you so much for the time you've spent and for listening to my teaching. Bye.